Did you know that there's a place in Montgomery County that will accept your old computers, refurbish them, and give them to families in need?
Okay. Yeah, put it over there.
That's it.
We'll give you a receipt.
You can't talk Jerry Rosenkrantz out of doing something that he wants to do.
I retired from FEMA in 1995 on January the 3rd. I had 29 years, 11 months, and 8 days. They said, why don't you stay 2 more weeks for 30 years? And I said, no. 29 years, 11 months, and 8 days is enough. I've had it.
Jerry was absolutely convinced retirement was the way to go.
I thought I was going to sit down, have 3 cups of coffee, read the Washington Post cover to cover, and then go jogging in the afternoon. 6 weeks of that, and I was stir crazy.
So, after believing he wanted to retire, Jerry was now convinced he had to go back to work. Jerry decided to resurrect old computers and make them functional for those in need.
This particular computer has been configured for a low vision person.
Families, nonprofits, senior centers, and religious organizations that qualify for the program.
I'm here to get a computer. I read somewhere that the senior citizens they're using it a lot.
And a friend of mine said, why don't we just call it Project Reboot? So we did. We found that, the old people who have children and grandchildren who will never telephone or visit will send them an email joke a day over the years, which is why they want it so badly. I found that out. When we started out, we were doing probably a couple of computers a week, maybe a dozen a month. We're now processing a minimum of 200 a month, generally between 200 and 300 computers a month.
One store of choice for Project Reboot is right down the street.
This load all came from the Montgomery County Waste Transfer Station, but we are the only organization that is authorized to salvage equipment from the recycling center.
Project Reboot is located just off Route 270 on the corner of Chokecherry and Shady Grove Roads. Donations are accepted on Mondays from 1 to 5 p.m. and Wednesdays from 10 to 4. Some of the computers can be brought back to life with a simple tweak here and there.
A lot of that equipment is very good. It's functional. People throw away working computers all the time. I can't believe what they throw out. And including these laptops. Or, some cheap part goes bad and they, instead of bothering to fix it, or they get quoted a couple of $100, to hell with it, and they say to hell with it, and maybe I can show you one that's been gutted. See? They took the memory out, they took the wireless card out, they took the battery out. If we're lucky, we may have a hard drive in there. But this is what they do to most of them, and then we got to find the parts. And this is a relatively nice, it's a nice machine, if we can get it put together.
Project Reboot's volunteers are mostly retired.
I'm a retired Fed. I was in counterterrorism and emergency response at the Environmental Protection Agency.
But it doesn't mean that you need a lot of computer experience, because when it comes to loading software and putting in operating systems, it's a pretty straightforward job you can learn in a couple of weeks.
I'm not a technical person, but I like fooling around with stuff, and these gentlemen are much more knowledgeable than I am, and I enjoy doing it. It keeps me off the street.
Well, I think it's the right thing to do, trying to keep stuff out of the landfill. I think it's important that we reuse some of our old equipment instead of throwing it away. And in the meantime, other people who can't afford it can benefit from that.
So did you get what you wanted?
Yes, thank you.
That I got it for a reasonable price. Being a single mom, I was able to get a computer, and I'm in school also to help me with school and my children.
A lot of the volunteers are scientists, engineers, and mathematicians who get hooked.
And I basically did it to learn, and so I've been coming ever since, and it's addictive, mentally addictive.
Even students chip in.
The reason I'm doing this is because I have to do volunteer work. I am learning about laptops, software, and how to diagnose one and how to repair them.
These technicians analyze,
Look, now that just increased time.
untangle, assemble, and repair equipment even when all seems lost.
The tough job is diagnosing the computers and deciding what's wrong with them and why.
If they bring it back and we can fix it in a half hour, we will. If we can't fix it in a half hour, we will usually replace it, but then you lose all your baby pictures and your tax records and whatever if you didn't back them up.
This was the original good floppy drive, the first half-high floppy drive.
Some of the equipment has been retired for good and is stored in what Jerry Rosenkrantz calls his museum.
This is our museum we had for old time's sake. It is a collection of obsolete equipment which has been either donated or picked up at the waste transfer station. Mostly it came in by people saying, "Can you use this?" And we said, "Well, we can put it in our museum."
But Jerry and his volunteers have saved many old computers and printers from going into his museum and into families' homes instead.
These are people that loaded up a computer. It's a family getting a computer, and you know, in general, most of them, it's the first one they're getting. What I heard from at least one of the programs was that a family that gets a computer with a child in school, the kids' letter grades go up. That's what makes me feel. That's what keeps me going.
Even though for Jerry Rosenkrantz this may take a whole lot of work.
What a day.
Retirement still isn't on the horizon.
Not that I'm just recycling, taking junk and making it usable, but the fact that I'm changing the lives of people.
I'm okay.
We're making a difference.
I just worked up a sweat out there.
To qualify for computers or to donate equipment, contact Project Reboot.